Hello and welcome everyone to the in-depth series of Drishti IAS. My name is Pragya. In today's episode of In-Depth, we are going to discuss about a very important topic that is in news recently. The title of our today's discussion is the consultative process for appointing election commissioners. So the very first time in the history of Indian democracy, we are going to implement a consultative procedure for appointing the chief election commissioners and election commissioners in the Election Commission of India. In this discussion, we are firstly going to study about how appointment procedure of election commissioners changed. Then we are also going to delve upon the original procedure of appointments. Then we are also going to study about the Supreme Court ruling in this regard. Then we are also going to examine a very important question, that was this the first time a consultative process was considered. Then we are also going to see the new law and its aftermath. And lastly, we will be discussing a practice question for your prelims examination. So, if I talk about the background of our today's topic, recently the post of election commissioners has been remitted, and definitely the new law will be applied while appointing the election commissioners and chief election commissioners in the election commissioners. And this will be the first time, as I have explained, that we are going to consider a consultative process. So basically the appointments are going to be made as per the provisions of the new law. So we are going to discuss what is this new law all about, how has the appointment procedure changed, and what has actually prompted this change. So let us begin by firstly discussing how has the appointment procedure of the chief election commissioners and election commissioners changed. So basically there were petitions in the Supreme Court. So basically there were 4 petitions in the Supreme Court in the year 2015, in the year 2017, 2021 and 2022. Okay, so basically when the Supreme Court began examining this 2015 petition, it realized that it involved a very important question of law. It involved the interpretation of Article 324 and the role of the Election Commission of India. And this issue was never discussed in the Supreme Court before. So whenever there is a new issue or a new question of law that has never been discussed in the Supreme Court before, we form a constitution bench. We refer the case to the constitution bench because we are aware that yes, Supreme Court is the interpreter of the constitution. So that is why we require a larger constitution bench to deal with that issue, to interpret that issue. And the same thing happened in this case also, this petition also. So basically the petitioners pointed out that Article 324 clause 2 specifies the president's role in appointing election commissioners, with the caveat that this appointment is subject to any law passed by the Parliament. Moving forward. However, successive governments had not shown any inclination to enact a law. So, as per the original scheme of appointment, the appointment in the Election Commission of India was a sole discretion of the executive. Sole discretion of the executive. And by executive here, I mean the central government. So basically the power of the appointment in the Election Commission of India was in the hands of the Prime Minister, and the formal appointments used to be made by the President of India. And this was being challenged by the petitioners that no, it is not the sole discretion of the executive. They criticized the current appointment system for being opaque and said it raises doubts about the institution's independence, because who conducts the free and fair elections in India? The Election Commission of India. So they were arguing that it should be independent from any kind of political interference, and that was not possible if the sole discretion of appointment lied in the hands of the executive. They wanted a body like collegium or a selection committee for the appointments in the Election Commission of India so as to ensure its independence. Moving forward. Let us discuss the original procedure of appointment. As I said that yes, originally it was the sole discretion of the executive regarding the appointments in the Election Commission of India. Okay. So the power to make appointments rested exclusively with the executive. The government maintained a database of serving and retired officers, primarily secretaries to the Government of India and chief secretaries, from which the law ministry would create a shortlist. So basically there was a screening panel. And this panel consisted of the law minister and two union secretaries. And they used to choose the candidates from the screening panel. Okay. And the screening panel used to decide who has to be selected for the appointment of the Chief Election Commissioner and the Election Commission of India. And as I have stated before also, that the appointment lied in the hands of the Prime Minister of India, and the candidate selected was formally appointed by the President of India. So basically this was the sole power of the executive, and by executive, as I have stated here, I mean the central government. So basically the appointments were completely in the hands of the central government, and it was a pattern that ex-retired IAS officers were appointed in the Election Commission of India. Moving forward, let us discuss the Supreme Court ruling in this regard. So basically there were 4 petitions in the Honorable Supreme Court of India in the year 2015, 17, 2021 and the 2022. So what was the stance of the central government in this regard? So the central government was basically saying that the judiciary should not interfere. The judiciary should not interfere in the appointments. Should not interfere. So the central government was very against the interference of the judiciary in the appointments to the Election Commission of India. The government argued that while Article 324 Clause 2 mentions the appointment being subject to a law by the Parliament, without such a law, the President had the constitutional power to appoint them. So this was the center's argument in the petitions that were before this Honorable Supreme Court of India. And the central government was basically trying to say to the judiciary that please exercise a judicial restraint. We do not want you to interfere in the appointments of the Election Commission of India. Moving forward, the central government argued that the utopian model cannot be the premise for making changes in the structure of the appointment of the election commissioners of India. But the Supreme Court in this case was considering the legislative history and the Constitutional Assembly debates. On Article 324, that is the role of the Election Commission of India in having free and fair elections conducted in India. And the Supreme Court observed that it was evident that the founding fathers of the Constitution did not want the executive to have exclusive authority in appointing Election Commission members. So this was observed by the Honorable Supreme Court of India. Moving forward, the inclusion of the words subject to any law to be made by the Parliament in Article 324 Clause 2 was representative of the need for Parliament to legislate on this matter. So basically the Supreme Court in its 2022 judgment said that yes, the Parliament needs to enact a law. The appointments cannot be subject to the sole discretion of the executive. So basically the absence of such a law, the court noted, left a vacuum. So on March 2, 2023, the Supreme Court delivered a judgment, a very important judgment in the case, and it basically tried to fill this vacuum till the time a law was not made, and it stated about having a committee that should be responsible for appointing the chief election commissioners and the election commissioners in the Election Commission of India. And what was the composition of the committee? It should consist of the Prime Minister, Leader of Opposition in the Lok Sabha, and if the leader of opposition is not available, then leader of that opposition party which has the highest strength in the Lok Sabha as per the numerical value. And it should also consist of the Chief Justice of India. So to provide a remedy to the situation, the Supreme Court suggested that yes, a selection committee has to be formed for selecting the members of the Election Commission of India. Going forward, so this is how the CEC committee was formed, and we have discussed the formation of this CEC committee in detail in our Polity Primer series. If you want to have a better understanding, you can watch that video to know more. However, the court was careful to specify that these norms were subject to any law to be made by the Parliament. So basically, it was the Supreme Court itself who forced the government into the appointment procedure. So basically, after giving this judgment, the Supreme Court said that it is completely the prerogative of the Parliament, and the Parliament is free to enact any kind of law on the subject. Our judgment is not going to be a restraint in that regard. Moving forward, let us analyze that was this first time a consultative procedure was considered for appointing the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners in the Election Commission of India. The answer is no. This is not the first time. In fact, there was a committee that was formed in the year 1990, and it was formed under the then Law Minister. And this committee also recommended that yes, we need to have a collegium, or we need to have a selection committee for the appointments in the Election Commission of India. And notably, this committee should consist of the PM, leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha, and the CJI. And if the leader of opposition is not available, then the leader of the largest opposition party with regard to the numerical strength. So this was suggested by the 1990 committee. Okay. Then the 20th Law Commission's 255th report also emphasized the need for a consultative process. And you will be shocked to know that yes, the Law Commission report also recommended this composition. That means CJI was a part of that selection committee. Now let us analyze what is the new law, what is its aftermath, the aftermath of the Supreme Court judgment, and why is this law in controversy as of now. So if I talk about the new law, Parliament, by utilizing its legislative power that has been left open by the Honorable Supreme Court of India, that yes, the Parliament is capable of enacting a law on this subject, enacted the Chief Election Commissioner and other election commissioners appointment conditions of service and Term of Office Act 2023. The enactment date of this law is 28/12/2023, and this law has been enforced on 2nd Feb 2024. Okay. So the constitutional validity of this act has been challenged in the Honorable Supreme Court by an NGO, which basically is named as Administrative Reforms in Election Commission, or Administrative Reforms in India. So basically the constitutional validity of this newly formed law has been challenged before the Honorable Supreme Court of India, and the Supreme Court has refused to grant a stay on this law. In this case, the Supreme Court is saying that we are already dealing with the constitutional validity, and we'll see that what has to be done regarding the appointment procedure. And the petitioners in this case are arguing that this law is against the Honorable Supreme Court's Constitution Bench judgment, because this law replaces the CJI in the selection committee with a cabinet minister appointed by the Prime Minister, Cabinet Minister, which has to be nominated or appointed by the Prime Minister, by Prime Minister. So basically the petitioners are arguing that no, this is against the constitutional scheme, the constitutional judgment of the Honorable Supreme Court of India, because the leader of opposition will be outweighed by the Prime Minister and the Cabinet Minister. His opinion would not be heard. So basically in this case, the Supreme Court has refused to grant any kind of interim stay. With this, we come to a conclusion of our today's discussion. We have seen how has the appointment procedure in the Election Commission of India changed? What was the original procedure? Have we followed the consultative procedure before, or are we following it for the very first time? Okay, and then we have also seen the Supreme Court ruling in this regard. We have also seen the original composition of the CEC selection committee and what has actually changed in that committee. Okay, now let us analyze a practice question for your prelims examination. So the question is, consider the following statements with respect to the election commissioners. Your statement number 1 is, the chief election commissioners can be removed from office only through impeachment by parliament. Your statement number 2 is, all election commissioners have equal say in the decision making of the commission. Which of the above statements are correct? Your options are, option A is 1 only, option B is 2 only, option C is both 1 and 2, and option D is neither 1 nor 2. So kindly drop your answers in the comment box below. I hope this session was insightful for you. If you have any feedback regarding this session, you can drop it in the comment box below. If you liked today's discussion and found it to be helpful, kindly like the video and subscribe to our channel for more such updates. Thank you.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.